In the name of His Most Royal Majesty. By the grace of God, the King of France. So now, we appeal to you, Trevor Belmont, last of House Belmont.
Okay, this one doesn't have the longer thing where they have the Japanese gentleman come on and talk about he's like the head of development or something, or one of the heads of development on this game, and that he said that they were the same team that has also worked on the collections. But he said this one's due out this year, sometime this year. My reaction's not going to be as educated as some folks out there. I have not played Dead Cells yet. I've seen it. I saw Shadow Moses Collective's videos on it, and he did well there. And okay, so Trevor is in this. So that's Castlevania 3. That's Trevor, and you can see the wrinkles on his under his eyes and stuff. So it's supposed to take, I think it takes place a little bit after Castlevania 3. So I've watched a few other people's trailers, thank goodness, so I have some idea of what's up. There's just big holes in my gaming knowledge in general and experience where some people have played and I have not yet to venture. I've yet to venture. I admit when I saw Belmont's Curse, I thought of Belmont's Revenge. I don't believe this relates to that. I don't know if it does. So if they're summoning Trevor, but it's this young woman instead who looks a lot like Sypha to me, her costume is very Sypha, that... okay, and if I didn't listen while people were talking, I apologize, but does that mean that this is Trevor and Sypha's daughter that's going out there? And who is this person? Sonya is supposed to be somewhere in the back, behind, in the timeline, in the family bloodline. So I guess it's not Sonya. Like, I mean, there's elements of, you know, I'm sure they've looked at like Hollow Knight for this. It looks like the gameplay looks a bit like that. You know, sort of that Meat Boy influence where, you know, you're doing these impossible 20 move things, which I have not played those games because they look so challenging. I'm afraid to play them. Not sure. But I guess I should give them a shot, huh? Especially if now there's a new Castlevania. That looks like it's going to be in the vein of these types of games. I should look at the camera for this one. I'm not playing a game. So, I even wore the hat today. So, if you can see, Simon Belmont is on there with his flame whip. Looking awesome. So, I mean, and I know Dongled's channel mentioned, hey, how about a 3D Castlevania collection? Here from me as well. Yeah, I'm down for that. And throw Castlevania Legends on there. Just put it on there. Just have it. I know people, it's not the most beloved Castlevania game, but, don't leave any stone unturned. Just go ahead and put it on there. or add it to one of the previous collections there. So, okay, first of all, this game looks good. Looks like they're going to do a cool thing. You know, they're like I said, they've looked at Meat Boy, they've looked at Hollow Knight, games like that. You know, they're tracking where Metroidvanias are going and or have recently been, and looks like they're plugging those elements into this Castlevania. So this will be another evolutionary step for Castlevania. That's fine. I wonder if I'll have trouble playing this one. So there's that to think about. Then who the character was, like I was saying, is this Trevor and Sypha's daughter. She seems to have powers like Sypha, and she wields the whip. It's not Trevor going out there, as far as I know, unless Trevor is still supposed to be of an able-bodied age to still rock some Armies of Darkness. So it looks like it's gonna be good. It looks like it's gonna be pretty good. I haven't played Hollow Knight or Silksong yet. I've seen them, but I've seen enough of them to know what's up a bit. I've been playing so many fan games lately. Is what I've been playing. I've been playing fan game wise. I have been playing the First Serve Gaming's Castlevania 2 remake, which is looking very good. My brain is drawing a blank on what it's called. I'm sorry. But that's one I recommend. War Machine Studios is working on a remake of Castlevania 4. That's looking very good. Things like that. I've been playing through some hacks and things. I played a little bit of Ark House's Seal of the Curse lately, Seal of the Curse X, because it was a 10-year anniversary re-edit of the original one that he made, which is tied into another trilogy of games that he's made, which go in different directions. They don't stay in the Castlevania vein of gameplay. But if you want to check out something interesting, certainly the visuals on Ark House's stuff are not boring. He has quite a vision for what he does. Seal of the Curse, it's slow. I mean, you move slow, you can't dunk or duck, whatever dunk. But you'll deal with the graveyard duck. So there's some interesting stuff. They're visually very interesting. Of course, dark. Some people, I think, they compared it to Silent Hill. The vibe of the game more, which I'm going to play soon. I plan on playing it and either streaming it or just recording it or something. And I'm kind of going on here for a minute. I liked that music. The music was fine. There was some music that came out a few years ago that something had it was almost like the Law and Order gavel sound or something. I don't know. It's kind of that. So this is fine. I don't know. You know, let them try to write some new music. You know, or they can put it out. They should put tracks out there and let people vote on those tracks and say, hey, that one's great. Hey, that one's going in a weird direction. We don't know. I want to say it looks like there's some competency going on behind this new game. It does not look lightly taken. I think it's great that Konami is bringing in teams, other game development teams, maybe people who grew up with the original series, and they're not the original Konami team, and that's fine. You know, they're letting some fresh blood, as one could say, into the arena, and I think by doing so, they'll help keep this franchise alive and breathing. And give it a heart that still beats with blood in the veins. So yeah, I think this is exciting, interesting. Of course, I hope that the 40th anniversary they'll just live it up a little. And anything else, I have argued for the original Anniversary Collection getting tweaked a little bit, adding Castlevania Legends to it. The Castlevania 1 seems to be running on whatever version that there was a little bit of clunkiness in the original soundtrack. That, I don't know if Revision 1 fixed that. Because there was a revision of the original Castlevania game. Which, you know, none of us knew about that kind of stuff. We bought the game. We thought, you know, as far as concerned, we had the game back in the day. But now that we know about hacking and changing things, I mean, we've known about this stuff since Game Genie. But really, Game Genie was the original hack thing for Nintendo games. But yeah, no, I think this sounds like an interesting project. I'm interested to see what these teams come up with. I think those who are worried about the Lords of Shadow thing happening again, doesn't look like that's where it's going. I didn't hate Lords of Shadow. It's fine. It's well done. Enough. Kind of Zelda-ish. Which is fine. Played a lot of Zelda games. Well, I need to catch up on to the Metroids. They got a new Metroid out, I think. There's just a new Metroid out. But anyway, overall, looks like a promising new title coming to us. I hope that there's other great things coming down the pipe for the 40th anniversary. I would plead with Konami to think about looking at more non-Japanese developers, and I would it's a thought, okay? I don't know, it's a thought, but if Konami takes 70% of the profit and they give 30 to these new developers, these games that are fan-made could be profitable because they're doing well anyway. People like them. They're playing them. So why not make some money off them? Why not give these guys a fair amount of money for their work, for making these games? And let's stop being racists or nationalists about who gets to make official titles. Because there's money on the table and it's just being lost, and there's a shelf life on that money too. It will not be there forever. Time will move on, and so will people. But, you know, Konami, if there's people who are making great games from your franchises, don't shut it down. Make fair deals. Fair legal deals. Where everybody wins. Everybody can win. You know, like Megami games. They made some great fan games that you know, it's a shame that you guys can't say, well, okay, let's make a fair deal. You guys will get paid some. You know, most of it's ours. You guys, it's your franchise. You started this. You know, based on a lot of great ideas that you got from movies who didn't come after you for what you did. So, you know, this Castlevania is a world community thing. People from everywhere like Castlevania, and it's, you know, that's my thoughts. Anyway, I went into that. All right, I'll stop here since this video is 14 minutes long, and I'm sure it's more than long enough, and I'm off topic, and yeah, but thanks. Thanks, Konami. Happy 40th Castlevania. Thank you, Konami, for even giving us the franchise in the first place. When I was a kid, 6, 7 years old, and I walked into my uncle's house and I saw Castlevania on the TV screen. And he had a nice big TV screen too. That was cool. And I remember being in the cave level when you do the drop, and the dun 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 dun, and I'm like, whoa, what is this? This was cool. And you know, my interest in Bram Stoker's Dracula. I've met one of Stoker's descendants who's written books that both sequel and prequel to this. Plan to go to Romania at some point. Gonna have to plan a little more seriously, and it's great that you guys financed a trip when you put out Castlevania 3 so that someone could go. I wonder who that was, and love to hear their story. But other than that, yeah, okay. So 15-minute rant. I'm done. This sounds good. This game looks good. More collections sound good. Finding ways to tweak the collections we have. Just the anniversary collection is my biggest concern. Don't know if anybody else has any other great ideas. Put them in the comments. Konami, please listen. Try to listen. Pay attention. You know, let your fan base talk to you. If they're like, hey, I have this great idea, or it might be a great idea, then, you know, I want to say translation is so much better these days with things like Google and technology, where we don't have to do the stumbles that we had in Simon's Quest, although I personally find those stumbles charming in some ways. A flame flickers in the ring of fire. I think that's poetic. It just, how it goes with the game. Simon's Quest was story-driven, people. It wasn't necessarily, action wasn't priority. So, anyway, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Type your opinions in the comments below. Make your reaction videos. Let's hype this one up, folks. Looks like we're in for a good one. Happy 40th, CastleVania.